I'll do a little whiskey. Can't disappoint people. Hey, if you got this part of the video, you've got the live unedited edition Home Gadget Geeks Thursday night, March 6th, 2025. It's 8 p.m. or a minute before in the Central Time Zone. So that'd be 9 Eastern, 7 Mountain, 6 Pacific. If you've got this any other time than that, you got the recorded version on our recorded channel. Just subscribe right now before you forget. This is where we do all our live shows. So if you like that kind of stuff, you found the right place. You're already there. You don't need to do anymore. Jeff Sieh is hanging out with me. Jeff, good to see you. Welcome back.
Good to be here. Thanks for having me, Jim. This is going to be fun.
Yeah.
I enjoy listening to your conversations with Dave on Saturdays, and it's always fun to catch this show as well.
Yeah, it's a fun one. I've tried to quit it several times.
I just can't. Yeah.
No, I keep thinking like, well, I mean, am I really doing anything? And I look at my stats, and there's a couple, 300, 400, 500, whatever listeners to this.
That's
and I enjoy my Thursday nights. And so as long as I can get people to come on like you, it's awesome.
Yeah.
We have a good time.
Didn't have to ask me twice.
No, it's like, hey, well, we're talking about some modular AI. We'll talk about that here in just a sec, but which actually just came out of a thought that I had based on somebody else I'd listened to. And then you're like, hey, I'm doing some things around that. I'm like, there's our topic. Let's have that. So good. So Ken says good. Sound quality is good. Thanks, Ken. I've had some, Jeff. I've done some dumb things lately where I've come in here. Let's get the chat up. I've come in with the wrong mic, which doesn't sound very good. Yeah, for whatever reason. Probably too much liquor.
Probably too much bourbon. Yeah.
I've got the old fashioned going here. But one of the things, and I showed you this in our pre show, but we almost never get early times, which is a Brown Forman. They just purchased this a couple years ago. Bottle and bond, so 100 proof. In Kentucky, it's everywhere. It's $24 a liter. This is not a $7.50. This is a liter.
That's awesome.
It's the best deal in bourbon. So if you're out there, you see early times. It's an old recipe. Brown Forman picked it up. We did some taste tests with Old Forester, so we did a Brown Forman, Old Forester, early times, Cooper's Craft, and then of course now Jack Daniels is a part of the Brown Forman family. I shouldn't say now; it's been that way for a while. But we did all four of those, and you can kind of taste the similarity in the mash bill across all four, which is kind of now the Jack Daniels 12. We did the 12, which is super hard to find. It's delicious. The rest of them are good, but the 12 is amazing, right?
So you always have to, as it's interesting when you do taste tests, you have to do them more than once because whatever you start with, you kind of burn out towards. I mean, so I always like to okay, tonight we'll start with the Jack Daniels, and then later we'll go, and then the next night start with something else, and then finish with the Jack Daniels because you kind of get that, anyway. You kind of burn
no,
by the
right
time
on.
You're done. You're like, this is whatever's great.
Well, if you get to the end, you can't go back on the same night. You can't go back to the beginning because you're just you're pretty hammered at that point.
So I had Jay Bear on, and if you guys follow him, he was a speaker. I've known him for years, but he got into tequila. He's always loved tequila, but now he's a tequila influencer. He's a speaker, and now they're hiring him not just to speak. They'll say, hey, can we pay extra and do a tequila tasting? And he creates his own barrels now and all this stuff. But he was telling me that they film in batches, and by the end, they're a little okay, because this is a hard problem to have, but he has just swimming pools full of tequila because people send it to him, So you need to be a bourbon influencer, and then people would just send it to you.
No, I buy enough. I've got all my own bourbon.
I've
got all. In fact, I cleared some room out. I think we're going into a phase where bourbon's going to get cheap. Now, as cheap as it used to be, probably not, but cheaper than it was, probably. So I cleared some space out. I was just checking the sales this weekend for some stuff, and I'm like, maybe I need to go get a little bit more. This is the time you got to, it's getting unpopular. Bourbon and whiskey is getting unpopular again, and you got to be. That's the best time to be in the. I mean, there's some rumors of some distilleries closing, and there's all kinds of barrels on the market. Tariff. Absolutely. I mean, the Canadians have been take the American stuff off the shelf, right? So it's it'll be interesting to see. Certainly, I mean, that whiskey is not going to come back to the United States, right? The stuff that's up in Canada is going to get boxed and sold on the secondary market because it's now I mean, you can't. They're taking Jack Daniels off the shelf. Well, if you want Jack Daniels, you got to buy it on the
Right.
secondary market,
Which is so expensive.
Oh, it's going to create a black market for American whiskey. It's not like Canadians. I mean, yeah, they're mad at us, but some of them are like, well, I'm not that mad. I still
Yeah, I still want my whiskey. Yeah. Yeah.
Where's
Give me
the
my bourbon.
makers?
Yeah.
Where's the makers? Right. So I think it'll be interesting to see how long that lasts for. I mean, the bourbon lobby.
I need to send you a bottle because a friend of mine here, because I'm in Texas.
Yeah.
Have you had any Still Austin?
Oh yeah, but
Okay.
it not enough. Not
Okay.
enough. Yeah.
All right. Well, there's some. I got him a. It was cask strength or something. It was a tier up above it. It was very tasty. So yeah.
Yeah, probably 50 a buck. We can get it up
Yeah.
here. Still Austin is pretty good. People keep saying that, and I keep going in, and then I'm full of other things, and I'm like, well, I get it the next time around.
Yeah.
So,
and it's not a cheap bottle either. It's not like the cheaper ones, but it's tasty.
but it's 30 to 50. I mean, I think their bourbon is 30, 35, something like that. I think those are going to get a lot cheaper or reasonably. When I first started buying bourbon during the pandemic, you get a good bottle for 20.
Yeah.
And then they went to 30 and 40 and 50 pretty fast.
My Eagle Rare was on the bottom shelf, and I used to just go in and get it. And now you have to ask, or it's allocated here.
That's a 10-year, right? Eagle Rare 10-year.
Yeah. They have a 17-year, which is super expensive. I've never even tasted it. It's really
That's a Wild Turkey. Wild Turkey makes that.
No, it's a
or is it a Buffalo Trace?
Buffalo Trace. It's a Buffalo Trace.
Okay. Yeah. And they make the Russell's 10-year too. Buffalo Trace does, which is a pretty delicious. And those are 30 now. Those had kind of been creeping up into the 40s and maybe the mid 40s. And the other day I saw them for 39, and you're like, okay,
well, get some. Yeah.
Hey,
I get it.
maybe
it's good.
They get 29, then it's probably a buy at that point. So, all right, enough whiskey. You're not drinking tonight, so I'm sorry.
I know. I got my sparkling water here.
Yeah,
I have a show tomorrow.
Good enough. Yeah, you do, and I do too. But it's maybe not till what time's your show?
10. But
10?
I just it's kind of a rule I've just made myself because if I don't, it'll be bad.
It's a good call. I should, but I don't. Yeah. So. All right. I have a good liver. Unfortunately, it cleans it out pretty fast. I'll go and work out tomorrow morning. So it'll be that. So. Okay. Let me kick this thing off. You know the routine. I do a little intro. We'll do some banter back and forth. Here we go. This is the Average Guy Network, and you have found Home Gadget Geeks, show number 639 with Jeff Sieh, recorded on March 6th, 2025. Here on Home Gadget Geeks, we cover all the favorite tech gadgets that find their way into your home, news, reviews, product updates, and conversation, all for the average tech guy. I'm your host, Jim Collison, broadcasting live from the AverageGuy.tv studios. Here in a getting better, Jeff, we had a snowstorm that rained, ice, snow. Not a good combo. You're down in Texas, so
we had the storms come through, and it was not pretty. I mean, it was very windy. We lost power, but we didn't have the.
You guys always lose power.
Yeah,
do you have a generator? You have a backup generator?
I have a generator that can wheel out, and so my fridge doesn't go out. I really want one of those natural gas ones that'll kick over.
Yeah,
they're like $7,000-$8,000.
They are. There's cheaper ways. Maybe we'll have you next time. We'll have you on, and I'll coach you through
getting it.
A $2,000 or $3,000 solution. Are you wiring? Can you do home wiring at all? Or
yes, but I hate it. It scares that and plumbing scares the crap out of me. I just don't,
No, I understand. Well, maybe we'll do a show at some point. I walk through mine. During the storm, it's all ready to go. I'm waiting on a 15-gallon tank to come. That's the backup, like the secondary tank, so that I can get, let's just say 15, 20 hours worth of running at a time. And that's enough. You go get more gas or whatever and fill that thing up. And now that it's set, we had the storm. I was wishing the power would go out, and everybody went out around us.
Not you.
I have guaranteed single-handedly I'll never lose power again because
bought one.
It's in a cart. I can wheel it out there. It's easy to plug in. Yeah, it's an increase. Anyways, we'll post a show out there with some world-class show notes out at theaverageguy.tv. Big thank to our Patreon subscribers each and every month. Those of you who contribute, we just have one $5 plan. If you want to join the team, head out to theaverageguy.tv/Patreon. And then if you head out, if you're heading out to theaverageguy.tv, I have this link, which I can never remember what I've written out there, but tonight I looked it up. So if you go out to theaverageguy.tv, upper right hand corner, it says, as an Amazon. There we go. As an Amazon associate, I earn from qualifying purchases. It's red. If you click on that, benefits the network. Check it out today. If you're going to go to Amazon anyways and you want to help us out, just swing through the averageguy.tv, click on that link, and it will take care of it as well. And then big thanks to Jay Franzi, who joined me last week. Really enjoyed that guy, enjoyed that conversation. And so, Jay, thanks for joining us. Jeff Sieh is here. Jeff Sieh, and it's C is spelled S-E-I-H. So if you go to
IEH.
did I say E-I?
Yeah, I before E,
I
especially
meant
in C.
I-E. Sorry. I've had an old fashioned. Thanks for clarifying that. Jeff, SIEH.com. And give us an idea for folks who maybe have not gone out and heard you before. What's your podcast flavor? What do you do?
Yeah, so I do a live show every Friday at 10 a.m. Central. It turns into podcast, live video, all the the clips and everything. We talk about it's social media news live on Facebook, and the podcast. We're in the middle of a rebrand to Creator News Live, which is over on YouTube, because I think social media has a negative connotation. So we're talking about things that impact the creator economy. Tomorrow we're talking about live video. This guy does Alec Johnson. He does one take kind of content, which is great. His studio is awesome, and he has all these techniques and teaches how to set all this stuff up. So it's gonna be a good show. We've had people. I mentioned Jay Bear in the pre-show. He's been on before. So we get all sorts of creators and pretty much pick their brain for an hour, which is a lot of fun. And we got a couple weeks ago, Justin Moore is kind of a big deal in the sponsor game, where he actually teaches you how to get sponsors. So that was a great show. So stuff in that vein. It's a lot of fun. So doing that. Also been speaking about a lot, which we're going to talk about today, a lot of AI stuff. I'll be talking at Social Media Marketing World about creating AI images, and I'm speaking with that at CAX this year. So it's a pretty fun little topic.
Lots of AI usage in the podcasting space. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Some about, you come out and hang out with me on Saturday mornings with Dave Jackson, and we do Ask the Podcast Coach. The other day I was mentioning, I feel like we're on level 1 of AI, which is like these big AI models. And I've been on this show, I've mentioned I've been using LM Studios, which is a software application both for PC and Mac. You can download it. And then you really have that. It allows you to have access to most of the open source LLMs that are out there. You can just download them and try them, which is kind of super cool. And that led me, I was listening to a conversation, I think on Windows Weekly, which you wouldn't think would be an AI show, but I think Paul Thurrott mentioned something about the modularization of AI and how the magic, I think, in the future is not in giant models, but in many small models that interact with each other, right? And then you're like, oh, hey, I'm working on some AI stuff. And I was like, okay, let's talk about it. So Jeff, what drew you to it? I know we're from a social media, from a marketing standpoint. I mean, we're talking about it at work. I work in marketing, for a full-time job. But what got you into that?
So one of the things that our company does too is we also produce a lot of video and podcasts for other people. So not only mine, but our other big one that we do like 8 for Agora Pulse, which is a social media, social listening kind of tool. We do all their podcasts, and also do Guy Kawasaki's podcast, which he used to work for Apple, and so I've been doing his for 4 years. And when we started with that, he wanted to use this tool, because this Guy Kawasaki, called Descript. And it was fresh out of the gate. So I had been using Descript for editing, and actually have a little course on that, but I've been using it since 4 years ago is when I started Guy's podcast. And so I've seen how content creation has improved with AI. Like my whole editing, the way I edit, and I've been editing video. That's what way back in the day, I had a company. We did a lot of video editing, corporate videos and stuff. So I had Premiere 2, I think it was. I mean, I've been in the Adobe ecosystem for a long time, but Descript came along. It changed everything. The way we edit. It's if you haven't used it, it's like a text-based editor. You move pieces of text around, and now they have it so the AI will actually go in and you can clean up filler words. You can actually have your eyes lock on the screen. It have an eye contact thing, so if you look the right way, or you're reading from a teleprompter or whatever, it'll focus your eyes. We have clients that use that all the time. So they keep getting these new tools, and so that led me. I've always been visual based. I mean, I started way back, teaching people on Pinterest and other platforms, visual kind of marketing. And so as this kind of grew, the AI did, it just fascinated me being able to create images and how it's gotten better and better and better. And what excites me so much about this time that we're in is I've been a graphic designer, but I mean, I take stuff that I find clip art or, stock photos, and I can manipulate it and make an image that you can send out on a post or something, but I've never been able to take what's in my head and put it out and create something. And now we're able to do this with AI, like with Midjourney and, Dolly and even Adobe Express, all these different platforms. And so that has really opened up things too. And then so I wanted to build my own, so we'll talk about it, but I built my own PC to run all this stuff on. So it's just it's moving so fast, but it's so exciting. And as a creator and as a creative, it just kind of opens up a lot of things that we can do.
What do you think, Jeff? From let's wax philosophically
Sure.
here for a second. When do you think this? I mean, we're making this is like when the PC came out and we had 286, 386,
Right.
486,
Right.
Pentium, Pentium
Right.
2s, Pentium 3s, Pentium 4s. Like, and it was literally every year, maybe faster than that. They
Mhm.
kept, I mean, we were just screaming. You bought a 486 and it was already out of date,
Right. Right.
90 days later, right?
Right.
With AI, what do you feel like? I mean, these things just keep coming. Do you think where do you see, or do you think I mean, we have to plateau at some point, but I don't know. Any thoughts on that? Of like,
Well, it's kind of like I can see how it is, even, back in your big, businesses would have the server rooms. They started building the server rooms out and everything. You could have your own PC, but if you wanted to do huge networking stuff, you had to have a server and, networking and all that stuff. I think it's the same way here. I built a AI PC that is incredible,
you know,
but, it's limited to what it can do. If you wanna do some really heavy number crunching, you've gotta have like a PC with multiple graphic cards, and that's going to lead to servers. And I mean, so I think there's going to always be the industry stuff, and then also the stuff you can do at home. But the
yeah,
cool stuff you were talking about this at the beginning is these distilled models where you can take the big model and download what 4 gigs or
yeah, 4 to
whatever,
4 to 5 gig,
yeah, of
usually.
the model and run it on your own local thing, train it the way you want, not worry about privacy. Like I'm running DeepSeek over on this thing because it works really well, but it doesn't send anything off. It's
Yeah,
locked into this box,
yeah.
which is very, very cool. And like you were mentioning before, being able to play with those different models. So
What are you
I do
using? What software are you using to run the models?
I use Olama is
Okay,
the one
so
I'm
you're
using.
going native, kind of the Olama
Yeah,
software.
and I have that one I wanna try the one that you mentioned, the Elm Studio, and there's
Yeah,
another one that there's like 3 big ones that people are using.
yeah,
My thing is next, I got the DeepSeek and everything running great. I wanna do the image base where I can go in and train my own models and do some. I use Midjourney almost exclusively, but I wanna try some other stuff with
yeah.
my own little PC.
Okay, everybody's screaming at me because we're a hardware. I mean, this podcast was built on
On
hardware,
hardware.
right?
Yeah.
So, talk a little bit of what'd you pick up? What are you doing? What have you built?
So, it's I have I'll tell you, I am totally the average guy. This is perfect for me.
Yeah,
I don't nerd out totally on stuff. I see what's working and I like look at like Tom's guide and go, yeah, I kind of want that and I want that and I can afford this. That's kind of what I did with this. I've always been able to go into my PC and pull out and replace the, memory or hard drive or whatever, but I've never built one from the beginning. I went Mac a couple years ago when I really started that, and so I had a PC, but it was just kind of there. I just didn't use it, but it's been fun to get back into this. So I bought this. It's a height case. It's a height Y70 touch case, which is basically an aquarium because I wanted to be able to have enough room because this was my
uh,
first build. I want to have enough stuff, to do that with.
you have a picture of it? I mean,
So I can actually let me
let's
turn off my lights so you guys so it won't be doing it. So I'm gonna go and switch to my PC. So
yeah.
this so it's actually I built it and
That
I
is
have
an
it all,
aquarium. Holy
but I
bucket!
have it set up as my Star Wars
Yeah, well,
kind of
look at
thing. So
that.
I've got over here, I've got like Darth Vader and
Yeah,
kind of, but and if
you
you
have
can see,
action for okay.
yeah,
Hold on, for the audio only folks. You've got
yeah,
this. this case has a screen on it. You got Star Wars playing. You got 2 different screens going. You got action figures inside the case.
Right, and
Right.
also the on the fans, it's LED, and so I can actually put whatever inside of the
Yeah,
fan.
you've got LED monitor. You basically
Yeah,
have a monitor in
yeah.
each of those fans.
And this I actually edited myself because it's a tight thing. So I went and found clips and I just kind of built this
Yeah.
screensaver. And it's actually a touch screen, so I can actually move over and touch this, and
Oh
you
my
can
god.
launch stuff from it. There's actually a game I could play Tetris on it if I wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
That's pretty
yeah,
great.
I nerded, and then this got all the lights. You can't buy a PC anymore without lights. But
Right.
anyway,
Right.
yeah. So that is my baby.
What's a case like that run?
It was like $300.
Okay,
I think
well,
it's
that's not
something.
terrible.
But I mean, listen. I'm to the age. I'm 52. I've always wanted to do this.
Yeah.
I said I'm gonna pull out all the spots. I'm gonna do what I want, and it's it's a AI case. It's also a PC gaming case. I usually don't have the Star Wars stuff set up. I kind of turned that all on for you guys tonight.
I like
but,
it. You could do it. That's the thing.
I have
You
a thing
could do
too that I want to do an Indiana Jones themed one, like with a little action figure in there, and because I can change all the lighting and I can change that thing on at the beginning, and so anyway,
Okay.
nerded out on that. So it's an AMD.
Yep.
So it's got the Ryzen 7950 3D X3D in it. So it's the 16 core 32 thread. So it screams. This is the first one too that I've ever put a liquid cooling system in. So it's that all-in-one. It's super easy to install. It has a radiator. So it's got positive pressure coming in. So those 3 in the back are actually, they're reverse blade fans. So they're actually pulling air in. I have 3 fans at the bottom pushing air up, 1 in the back, and then also the radiator. So there's positive pressure going in. So it keeps really cool, and they're
keeps the dust out too.
Yeah, and this case has really good, 1, cable management, and 2, it really keeps things up, and it has like dust collecting, so it's not just shooting up into your case. And so I did a bunch of research on cases, and yeah, it's a monster. It's not a small case by any means, but
it's giant.
I wanted to have enough room to mess around.
Yeah.
So
how much RAM did you buy for it?
64. Like there are 2 sticks of.
I'd upgrade that to. Does the board support 128?
Yeah, it does. I just
do it now.
Yeah,
I just do it now. You're gonna do it. Just do it now.
So what I was doing is I would go through, and the cool thing is I'm an Amazon influencer, so all this stuff I can do and write off, and I can do videos for. Yeah. But I would buy stuff when it was on sale. Like this is like a 6-month process. The graphics card took forever.
What'd you put in there? What was the graphics card?
The 4090. The 4090. So I told you, it's like
that's so great. Okay.
And I was even like, should I send that back and try to? But I couldn't get the new 5090s.
No, you're actually the 4090 is probably better.
And they're having some heat issues and some other things, and so I'm like, I'm glad this one. But it screams like when I play games. There's no hiccups. There's no drag. And I put everything on ultra quality. It's awesome. I had
what'd you use for hard drive?
Hard drive. I have 2 the stick, the flash memory.
NVMe.
Yeah, I've got 4 terabytes, 2 terabytes, and then I have another 2, which is not the stick. It's kind of, I picked it up another just SSD. So
yeah, I have 2 slots, 2 NVMe slots in the one I bought. You could buy them with more. I think you can get up to 4 or 5. And I put 2 terabytes, 2 1 terabytes. Maybe they're 2 1 terabytes. And I think with the AI models, I think I want to upgrade one of those to a 4 terabyte, and all the models go, because it doesn't take long. You start downloading these models, and then pretty soon you're like, oh, I wish I had a little more space.
This is the first time I've never had a platter spin kind of disk in a computer.
Oh, you put a spinner in there?
No, I haven't. But I mean, it's the first computer I've not had a single.
Oh, you've not had
drive.
Yeah.
So
all solid state. That's pretty sweet.
So, and I've really been impressed with the Asus. I got the ROG motherboard, and I really like it.
Yeah, it's
I really
hardened.
like it.
It's a good the Asus is making really good boards. That's what I have too, and I like what they're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's and
Cool.
I mean, and the light stuff. I mean, but you can't buy anything that doesn't have lights on it now.
I mean,
Like,
you can. You just got to work hard.
right? It's
Yeah.
harder to do. And I was like, why not? I might as well do it. I might as well. I don't have a hot car that I trick out, so I'll do my computer.
Yeah,
So
my problem's whiskey. I have whiskey that I buy that
yeah.
keeps me. No, I built one with no lights. It doesn't have a lot of fans in it. So it's a gaming case and
Mhm.
it doesn't have a lot of fans. So you can do it. It just takes a little, like I
Yeah, I mean,
said,
I have
it
the
takes a
fans at
little
the bottom don't have any lights on them. I could have done
right.
that everywhere, but
No, it's okay. It looks cool.
it's just
It's
fun.
super cool. The fact you could basically have a monitor on your case that you could be streaming things to. Can it be used as a monitor, or do you have to
Yeah.
can you only
It's I
feed
can drag stuff over just like in Windows. I can do whatever.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and
Nah,
it's
you should
touchscreen,
have
so
showed that to me.
it's pretty cool, man. And they actually you can buy the case where that kind of that triangle kinda corner thing is just glass, and a
Yeah.
lot of people would do that, and then they buy this thing to upgrade to it, but then they added this option where you can just get it, and so it was so popular, they ran out of those LCD screens, those touch LCD screens in the country, and so there's a back order, and I just hit it at the right time to get those, so
You'll have to, if you think about it, send me the link to the
yeah,
case
yeah,
so I can throw it, 'cause the parts are fairly, I mean, they're fairly
right,
generic,
right.
but the case is amazing.
I have been very impressed with it. It was
Yeah,
super easy to get to. Cable management. I like these two-stage where you have everything neat and then you can just have all the crap like hidden, all your
yeah,
wires and stuff in the
yeah,
back.
yeah.
This is the first time those fans are actually wireless fans. Now you have to tie them in there, but they're controlled
You
wirelessly,
have a
which
fan
is
controller that's
yeah,
wireless for that?
it's
Yeah.
wireless that still plugs in, but you can actually have a dongle that goes in the back. I opted to put it inside of the case so I don't have a dongle that I could break
Yeah.
off or
Mhm,
whatever.
for
So
sure, for sure.
so
Yeah, no, nice. Yeah, so, overkill,
yeah,
but
totally.
maybe not actually. Like, when we think about, okay, for gaming, you're set, like, you're
Yeah,
in
this
pretty
is
good
awesome.
shape,
Yeah,
right?
it's
When
awesome.
it
Yeah.
comes to that. But I think okay, so with these AI models that you've been
Mhm.
downloading
Yeah.
and running, have you gotten to the point, this is where I got, where it was like, "Yeah, that one's not gonna run on your configuration." Has that happened yet?
I don't know if it's a Reddit thread or something, but I found a place where it gives you the newest models and tells you how much and what you need to run it. Because since I have a 4090, a lot of that stuff will run on. I get to that
Yeah,
level.
yeah,
It breaks. You have this card.
yeah,
These are the models you can use, and so I just
yeah,
kind of went off that. That's why I got the Deep Seek. I think it's R8 or something.
yeah.
It's not the highest one, but it's the one down there. And I haven't noticed anything tricky with that. It's going to be interesting when I do the imaging because those
Yeah.
have a little more oomph, I think.
I'll need to follow you on the imaging things because I have not so far. A lot of the open source ones are text only. They're just the ones I can run. I mean,
Mhm.
so I have a 3060, so it's a couple steps down. I'm
Right,
running a Ryzen 5, so a couple steps down. I have 128 gigs of RAM, but
right.
that's because I wanted to run VMs on it when I put it together.
Mhm.
Um, and then on the M4, I've installed it on the Mac Mini too, and I find the 4 to 8 gig models are the kind of the right size for me,
Mhm.
and then I haven't from a tech standpoint, I haven't come across anything that has given me results where I'm like, "Oh, that's kinda disappointing." I
I
mean,
haven't either.
they've all come back with similar results as I get an OpenAI, right?
Yeah. I like being able to have it where I can play, especially with DeepSeek, because that made me a little nervous because of the Chinese connection and
Yeah.
people are saying they're sending it off. That's why I don't usually run it.
Oh, yeah,
That's why I have this over here kind of locked down. I don't have to worry about it sending
sure.
stuff out. So, but yeah, so I haven't had any issues. I think it's the 4 or 5 gig model that I'm running
Yeah,
with DeepSeek over
yeah,
there through Olama,
yeah.
I think it's great. I mean, it's really cool.
The goal for you, though, I mean, okay, you can do all of everything that you do publicly. Like, when I
Mhm.
say publicly, that's available as a
Right,
service,
right,
whatever.
right.
What's the advantage? Besides privacy, and
So
maybe that's the advantage.
my thing was because I'm thinking with the image, because Dustin Stout, who's he runs Magi, the company. He's a friend of mine. I've known him for years, and he does a lot of great stuff about, building your own uh, llama kind of database where it's your face and you can put it in all these different situations, and they
Mhm.
look fabulous. And he's doing that with Magi, which I know I could do with my own computer. So I'm my whole goal is to be able to really train my own image and my own style and really lock
Oh,
it down the way I
okay.
want
Yep.
for my company, and then I don't have to, hopefully, this is the plan, don't have to, whenever you're creating images like a Midjourney, you're rolling. It's a dice roll. Like, it's constant rolling, rolling, rolling until you get one you want. Then you can modify it, roll it some more. I'm hoping it will take that process
Mm.
and make it
Okay.
shorter,
Okay.
because it's just, if I can train it just on my data and really be specific of what I want it to do with some of these image models, I think
Yeah.
that it'll save me some time. And I nerd out about the AI stuff, so I want to be able to play and do things, and
Yeah.
and not have to buy a subscription every time.
Well, yeah, although this comes in cycles, right?
Right.
Where you can home grow it, and then eventually the enterprise versions or the paid versions go well beyond because they have access to
Right.
hardware we just don't have access to. And you decide, you could get into a situation where 3 years from now it's like, oh, I really want these new models, but that means I have to scrap the $3,000 and scrap you know what I mean
Right.
with that. And you're starting to chase money that, I mean, you look at Microsoft and Google and Meta, they're spending
Yeah.
billions.
Starting up 3 Mile Island or
Yeah, no,
whatever.
right on. And so you're kind of thinking like, can I keep up with them?
Right.
Um, from a modularization standpoint, we're still a ways away from this, but do you see a world where, because like these models, by the way, I love your idea of specialization because I too am thinking about, I want to train it on me. I want it to know my voice and
Right.
understand the work that I'm doing and know my images. And then I want it to process like it does with all that smart stuff that's on the web. Well, smart
Mhm.
is in
Mhm.
quotes,
Mhm.
but I want it to do it. I don't want it to train it on me every time.
Exactly.
OpenAI has that ability, right? There's a pretty big repository you could build. You can ask AI, "Hey, remember this," and it will remember it in a file, and it stays with your account, kind of deal.
Mhm. Mhm.
But do you imagine a world then where you have the best AIs? So you have a language, a true LLM, and then maybe whatever they call the graphics one
Right.
and a
Right.
video one, and you have an interface over the top of that that is managing all three of those and calling the ones it needs for those. Are you looking for something like that?
I think so eventually. And the other thing is, I love Dustin, and I think it's great what he's doing. I love his tools. But the problem is I get really nervous when these companies are built on other people's APIs,
Oh, yeah.
and, like, remember Twitter did this. They shut it down. Like, there was whole companies that were built on just using the API and organizing the data in a way that they could parse it out better, and that went away, and it killed those companies. I think
Mhm.
there's gonna be a lot of AI companies where that same thing happens, and so not only do I wanna play and have my own kind of, the way I train it, but I also, if it's good enough now, like, it's mine. I have that data. Like, they can turn it off, and, like, DeepSpeak could be banned in the United States.
Yeah.
I still have it. I still have the distilled model that I can run off of, and so, if I find something that works and I can constantly do it, and it's still on my computer,
Yeah.
then I think that's really cool. It's like, do you wanna download the movies from Apple, or do because you're basically leasing them when you buy something on
Yeah.
the Apple
Yeah.
Store, or do you want the DVD? Like, do you want the Blu-ray disc that's yours? So there's kind of that feeling to it as well. It's like, I want this model, if I get it working where I can just run all my show notes every time the way I want them, don't have to jank around, boom, I have it on my own computer, I'm done. You know what I mean?
Jeff, how long is that good for though
I
before
know.
you start wishing, right? I had
Hopefully,
access.
they'll have something where I wouldn't mind paying for a distilled model. Like, if
Yeah,
I could
okay.
get, like,
Yeah.
if they got to
Yeah.
the point where it's not all, I still think, because AI is so geeky right now, and that's why I like getting back into the PC space,
Yeah.
because everybody likes to get their fingers journeys. There's open source, things are going to be cheaper. New things are going to come. So I want to be able to access this. But you're right. I'll get it to like, oh, I want that new image model that actually does video and still images.
Yeah.
How can I do that kind of a thing?
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of this open model kind of reminds me of the Linux model in some
Mhm.
regards. And what they found is the money was never in the software, it's always in the service. And
Right.
so you can get, you can still download Ubuntu or any of the other 1,000 varieties of Linux that are out there.
Mhm.
And the you can use them for free in most cases. I think I still haven't run across one where you have to pay for the OS, but they always have a servicing model, right? Type deal. Maybe that's
Yeah.
maybe that's the future of this. Brian in chat says, "Glad to see so many LLMs out there, and there are a ton, right, that are available in the open world. Should be good for competition, allowing for more innovation and keep prices competitive." That's the real question, right? What is today $20 a month is the price, right? For most things that you're going to get that have AI in them, you're going to spend 20, at least 20 a
Mhm.
month for something like that. The problem I've seen on some of those is you're starting to pay 20 here, 20 there, 20 for this, 20 for that. Certainly in your case, it's probably in some cases it's probably I mean Descript is 40 probably, right,
Right.
for what
Yeah.
you're using it for
Mhm.
on a monthly basis.
Yeah. So, and then, if you have editors that go in on top of that, there's even more costs that'll come. But that one I'll happily pay because it has changed, like I said, everything. What I really want is so right now, and if you go to my Instagram, this because I'm speaking at the end of this month at Social Media Marketing World, I'm trying to put out some AI art every day on Instagram. And my last two, I take things that I've generated in Midjourney, and then I take them over to Runway, and then I animate them. I really want a service where I can get Midjourney type still images, and then click a button and animate them the way I want.
Yeah.
It's still like you said, it's compartmentalized
Yeah.
out there
Yeah.
where I have to put things together, which is fine, that's cool, but I would love it like, okay, that's a great image, I wanna animate it. Hopefully, that will come eventually to the PC, like the ones where I could do it locally
Yeah.
faster
Yeah.
than having to do it
Do you think it
in the
will?
I
That's a
th
lot of horsepower, right?
yeah, but I got a 4090, it should be
No, I
good for a while.
know, but it's more
Yeah,
than just local
right,
hardware, right?
right,
From that standpoint, yeah.
right, and especially with images and video
Yeah.
stuff, it's even more. But not having to jump around between I mean, Runway already now has a pretty decent they just kind of put it out there, um, image generator, that I've kind of been playing with, it's pretty good, and then there's, like, Flux is doing amazing stuff. That's what I wanna run locally over here is the Flux one for images because
Yeah.
it's really good, but,
As another, example of another, industry that is come and gone that's like AI right now is storage. So I remember a day when cloud storage was the shiz, right?
right.
Everybody was like,
Yeah.
cloud storage. There was 1,000. I even had a cloud storage guide for a while,
Wow.
and ever it was free. You could get a bunch for free, and then and then it was like, oh no, we got to charge for this thing, and then
Mhm.
it slowly worked its way down, and there's just a few left. Of course, Microsoft's out there left.
Right,
Joe in chat says you got to be careful. The
right.
Terminators may visit your locally hosted
Probably will
LLM
happen.
first. They'll smell it out. They'll be, do you have an LLM in there? I smell it. We need to get rid of it. Um, yeah, I hear you on. I'm just kind of wondering. I mean, the development of these, the creation of the LLM takes so much processing power. I just kind of wonder how long these open source ones will be free for.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
feel
it may not, and I mean, that's why I'm glad I got it, like, I'm downloading them now because I can play I have
true,
more
true, true.
I'll have a shelf life that's longer than most people before they have to pay to upgrade, like,
Yeah, true.
um and it's funny because I just don't see how, like, Perplexity is using DeepSeek's, learning mode that they have. If you haven't played with it yet, because it's free right now on Perplexity.
Mhm.
It is amazing, and I'm like, "How are they doing this?" Because I know that deep think kind of stuff takes a lot of horsepower, and And that's the kind of the thing that like ChatGPT is charging $200 a month for. To be honest, I'm using Perplexity. I don't use Google anymore. I use Perplexity for everything.
Mm,
And so how long are these free? What I mean,
mhm,
'cause
mhm.
I go to Perplexity to get my news because they have a news button now where they're doing all their news. So it's are they the new Google? I don't know, but they can't keep giving stuff away for free for so long. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
it's so I've mentioned this before, but we in our marketing, and you're in the space, right?
Mhm.
We're quickly emphasizing SEO, and we're
Yeah.
talking about what are they? I forget
What is yeah, generative
generative.
search optimization or something
Yeah,
like that. GSO?
GSO, yeah,
Yeah.
something like that, where we're thinking like we're already starting to think like, okay, the days of SEO are over. And if we're gonna spend any time, it's how do you feed the AI bots? What and
So
it's
it
not
comes
even
up.
that's not even
Yeah.
how they work, right? I mean, you ask somebody like, how do you structure I mean, SEO has been around so long. You
Mhm.
can ask any SEO guy that works for anywhere, how should you structure your, your sites so
Right.
that they're SEO friendly? You say to people like, "Okay, how do you structure your site so they're generative AI friendly?" And that they look at you funny, like, what? Nobody knows.
No,
We
they
don't
don't.
know. We don't know how these bots or whatever they're using to pull for this stuff from,
Yeah.
right? And we have no idea what kind of litigation will happen here in the future around some of this data, right?
Where there's a guy named Neil Patel, and I just saw him come out. There was an article today where he's talking about this because it's if you go to the Google conferences and they're all like, "It's still the same, it's okay," and I'm like this, but you talk to anybody who's in the industry, like I have a friend who has like a monster. He's got a 1,000,000 Facebook group. He's got huge. He gets all his money from traffic on his website from ads.
Mhm.
It's plummeted this year since this ran out,
Right,
and
right.
everybody I've talked to who relies on traffic to make the money, it's plummeted, and they're like, "What else is it?" I mean, even if my mom searches, she's just looking at the snippet, and that's all she's doing, and so it's gonna be really interesting how I think it's gonna change everything, like how we search. I just don't know how Google can they're gonna have to do some new I know they got Gemini and all this stuff, but I mean, I tell you, I go, yeah, that's a good question. Why did they train on old data? But, because yeah, and now this is and you've talked about this with Dave, because we're putting out all this generative content, there's a lot of content vomit out there from ChatGPT, and people are just
Yeah,
clicking
yeah.
easy button.
Oh, yeah. I've
So is it
created some.
training on that too?
I've created some.
Like,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
is it you remember that movie with Michael Keaton where he was it was multiplicity where he had a copy of a copy
yeah,
of a copy,
yeah,
and the
yeah.
last version of him was just an idiot? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
so I'm like, is that what's
mm,
gonna happen? I
yeah.
mean, I don't know.
Well, Jeff, you kinda wonder I mean, I keep bringing these old examples, but, you kinda wonder if we're in the world of LimeWire and, I'm trying to the music, but what back when
Absolutely.
music was being pirated at an incredible right, there was that 2 or 3-year period, right,
Mhm.
where it was just out of control, and then a few people got
Torrent
sued. Yeah,
torrents, yeah.
and a few people just a few people got sued, and then Apple figured out how to sell this stuff, and then we all just started paying 99 cents at that point, right?
Mhm.
Now, we've shifted from 99 cents to just subscription. Just,
Right.
okay,
Cable
just
bill again,
I
yeah.
just here's money. I just wanna access music. I'm
Right.
not Napster, yeah, Tony, thanks. Napster was behind that. LimeWire is the one I'm not well, allegedly I used. Just saying,
Yeah, I never use
it's
Usenet
not
groups, never.
confirmed. I'm not actually saying I did. Maybe I did. I could have been a mistake. Um, but I kind of feel like AI is in that place right now where we're still trying to figure out. I mean, it's happened so fast that the data inside these LLMs could be completely copyrighted, and it's going to take a couple court cases to figure
They
this
can't.
out.
I don't see how they can copyright it though, because they've ripped off everybody else, right?
Well, no, okay. So the original ChatGPT, if we think about there's some, I think News Corp is suing OpenAI, or one
Right.
of those is
Washington
suing
Post, yeah.
to say, yeah, hey, look, you took our stuff and you took our content. Listen, I work for Gallup. We could say the same thing. We've put
Yeah.
intellectual property out there. It's available out there. And it's like, no, that's our IP. You can't just grab that. But it was on the open internet. Well, yeah, but it's still our IP, right? And in some
So
cases, it was behind a firewall, is what they're saying.
so
But
this is where I've struggled
yeah,
because, I mean, I get text, I have a little less problem with because it was out there and they can train. I mean, they can do Webster's dictionary, whatever. But with images, because artists are have been throwing, a lot of flack up there, is because they are trained on artists' images, and then you can create. And the cool thing is I can take all these different artists and combine them together into something new,
yeah,
which you can do. I mean, artists have done this for centuries.
yeah.
Only this time, I mean, even Leonardo da Vinci, he learned to sculpt by copying the masters sculpting,
Mhm,
right? That's
mhm.
how he learned. Well, now we can do it at the speed of light,
Right.
right? It's like their training is like this. I could make a you name an artist, I could go to Midjourney and I can make you Jim in that painting. Like I could do that. Like I can do it.
Yeah.
So one, is there going to be new art? Like, well, why would artists put anything out? Right. Same with musicians. Why should I put anything out if I can just make it with AI? Is that going to hit our arts
Right.
hard?
Right.
And two, what's the ethics on this? I mean, Adobe's trying to do it. They're doing they're allowing, they're only using the libraries that they've paid for, right? The images or whatever. So for me, it's a more of an ethical thing. Like I don't ever use like a named artist very much. If I do, it's like old and like hopefully open source and that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. But like people are using their favorite comic book artists and like making art in that way and posting it on their blogs and whatever. I'm like, and that artist never gets compensated for it. So it's kind of an interesting thing. Now here's the thing: it can't come back. You can't put it back in the bag. Like if you wanted to protect your art, you shouldn't have put it on the internet, right? I mean, it's just not. Anyway,
Well, yeah. Oh, no. Yeah.
I
Well,
mean, is it copyrighted? It should be copyrighted, and they're training models on that. So
well,
I think they have a better legal case for art than I would spoken. I mean, text. I don't know. Maybe it's just
listen, we talk about this all the time with our Clifton Strength stuff because it's absolutely trademarked and copyrighted what we do. Now, there's so much of it available openly, and we've put stuff out openly. If a human were to take our content, put it on their site, we could easily go to them and issue a
yeah,
takedown. Say,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
you're copying our stuff. The AI, man, in our stuff in AI is pretty good. You're like, wow. Like the training on this, I can ask it some pretty good
I'm sure.
questions and it
Yeah,
comes back with some good stuff. Is that based on our IP or not? Nobody.
probably.
I'll be Nate Bargatze, right? Nobody knows. Like
I'm pretty sure
nobody knows.
it's like because I can make it go into Midjourney now and make a great thing of that looks like Vincent Van Gogh did it, and I'm sure they went to Wikipedia and scraped all of Vincent Van Gogh's paintings.
Sure.
Like, and I mean, if it's on Wikipedia, is that fair use or not?
Not
Are
right
these
on.
famous artists? I
I
mean,
know.
so
I know.
and then
I know.
music's I mean, the whole other thing. Music is the stuff you can create AI now. I mean, I think
Yeah.
stock libraries are gone. I never go to my. I used to use digital deposit photos is what I use for all my art. I haven't used those in all this year, most of last year. I just don't use them anymore
Yeah.
because I make my own.
Yeah.
So interesting
Okay,
stuff.
so I'm the other day, just maybe 2 days ago, I'm at my desk. I've got an intern who's, she's 22, maybe, whatever, right? Uh we're going through some website stuff and she goes, we're on LinkedIn and I go through there's a video that plays. I won't mention the organization. But she goes, "Oh, that's AI." I mean, in a second, goes, that's AI. And then she goes, that's disgusting. Now, it was just a business video. It was just showing people,
Right.
doing regular things. It's not like it was inappropriate content or anything like that. But it was interesting to see her reaction. I mean, she's in the middle of this AI explosion. And she points it out right away and goes, then her brand reaction was, that's disgusting. Like, that's not real marketing.
Yeah.
And
I
so
can see that.
I wonder if there's going to be, we're using these AI images. They're pretty easy to detect. They still have, 7 fingers and
Sometimes
weird.
they're getting, I mean, I'm telling you, Midjourney
Yeah.
stuff is good. It's
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
this is the worst it's gonna be. And what gets me is she's pointing that out going, because because I can look and I can usually tell. So I don't like dolly images. I can always see, I can say
Yeah.
that was made with ChatGPT. I can
Well,
tell.
they look bubbly. They
Yeah,
look
they look so,
bubbly and over like they have too much
yeah,
makeup on.
something, but it's like when
Yeah.
Canva came out, the designers were throwing a fit about Canva, and they would like, and I can remember going, "Oh, there's a Canva template. Oh, there's a Canva template."
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
but like, here's the thing, when it's the worst it's gonna be,
Yeah.
but I use AI all the time in my audio podcast. So Guy, he has trained his voice, and
Oh,
so
yeah.
when he bonks his mic or something,
Yep.
or he says something wrong and doesn't catch it, I just go back in and type it, and it says
Yeah.
in his voice, "You cannot tell. You cannot tell."
Yeah.
So, it's coming for that way with images. It
Yeah.
just really is. I mean,
Yeah.
it may not be there yet, and you might be able to point it out, or people are just lazy too. They're
Yeah.
just like, "I'll just hit a button."
Well, Jeff, you might be onto something here though. So when Guy, okay, so it's my voice, it's his voice, right?
Mhm.
You're using it in the context of repairing or fixing
Right.
his audio, right? It's done with his permission.
Mhm.
It's a very specific use case. And I kind of wonder with some of the other things that we have going on, if the general use of AI when we're creating things based on other people's IP or we're creating things that yeah. And you said it yourself when we started this podcast. Like you're most interested in creating a well-trained LLM that really pulls from the content,
Right.
whether that's your content as a content creator or the content that you're creating for other people. And I'm kind of wondering, yeah, I just it makes me wonder like is the day of the open LLM that scraped the whole internet, are those days numbered? Because at some point this is going to go to court and someone's going to be like, you can't do
But
this, right?
here's the problem, though. It's our court may block a certain LLM, but other
Oh,
countries
for
aren't.
sure. Yeah.
They're not
Yeah.
gonna do that, and
Yeah. Yeah.
they but DeepSeek's, there's some censorship from China and stuff, but um, it's I just think it's gonna be. I mean, yeah, I think there will be lawsuits, and then it'll be pop up, and I just don't see how we're gonna get away from it. It's really interesting with the legal stuff. What's gonna
Yeah.
happen?
Yeah. Yeah. What's interesting is you were talking about you're creating the content. I went to my own site and I talked about some content I created using ChatGPT, and that content was how to use ChatGPT for quick and easy translations. So I had ChatGPT create the content for like basically a learning module for itself.
Mhm.
It did a pretty good job. That page does pretty well from a search perspective, right? Now, to your point, I put that out at a point in time. The date on that is March 18th, 2023. So 3 years ago.
Right?
No, sorry, 2 years ago. It's only 2025. Maybe a little too much whiskey, but 2020, that was 2 years ago. Um, does that at some point become a part of the record? Like the copy of the copy of the copy,
Right,
right?
right.
I created an article, it gets in there. Does that reinforce the stuff that they do in the future, and then it becomes a point of record? To the Bitcoin point, right? In Bitcoin, right? The network consensus is everything. The whole
Mhm.
idea is you create 1,000 versions of the truth, and one person can't come in and
And
change it,
change it, yeah, right.
and it changes the whole blockchain. Do we see that same thing? I mean, because I think at some point we're going to have to come to what is the source of truth? And do we need a blockchain to control AI?
Yeah, that might
You
be
know?
the only thing, because the open source nature of blockchain that you could do it with.
Yeah.
To be so back to the image thing, I
Yeah.
think there's gonna be have to be some way, and a blockchain might be able to do this, where you have watermarked
Yeah.
for a little watermark for the artist. Now you if you try to take even stuff now, like I've been doing it for in Midjourney, there's signals that will send if you just put that image to like Instagram, and it'll give you the AI like tag, but you can circumvent it by taking it to Photoshop, flattening the image, and then uploading it again. So there's all these they're trying, and I most of it feels like they're trying to rubber stamp things so they can say they're trying to be proactive, but there's always ways around it, is what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So
I actually think the voice, the voice print concept of this will happen first. So
mhm,
I have a voice print, you have a voice print. Like I can make a robot, I can make a
sure.
AI version of you using 11 Labs, and one of your podcasts I can make you. Then I could use your voice. I think the blockchain is in a perfect spot for you to submit your voice to say like, hey, this is me, this is validated. However
Mhm,
they do that, I don't know how they would even do that, but this is me, this is validated. And then when someone wants to know real or not, it has to go back to the blockchain, right? And say,
yeah,
hey, is this the
the
real,
guy.
or was
Yeah,
this AI, kind of an AI spoof, so to speak? I actually think that could and probably should happen, because that technology is going fast,
mhm.
right? And that is something to worry about, of being able to I can make you and you can make
Yeah.
me say absolutely anything, right?
I could go to your YouTube channel and take a minute of your content,
Yeah.
and I did
Yeah.
that when I was speaking at Lou. I had he was, at his Momentum event, Lou Mangello, he's a big
Yeah.
podcaster,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
for sure.
so I actually I went into his podcast, downloaded a thing, and I did it through 11 Labs, and at that time, you just had to say, "Yes, I say this is
Mhm,
me."
mhm,
That's all you have to do is click a box, and
mhm.
I wrote my own intro. Like, he introduced me and said, "That's not very good. Here's one that I like better." And then I
Yeah.
had him, like, it was over the top, like, "Jeff, I wish Jeff was this dad I never had." Over the top in his voice with his inflections,
Yeah.
and people's when they heard it, they're just like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
their mouths dropped open. And then the translation stuff you can do. What interests me, and I think will happen, we're talking about the, compartmentalizing and kind of the
Yeah.
component
Yeah, yeah.
section, is these AI agents. Because right now, you and I, like, okay, we're doing show notes, we may go to Captivate, we put it in there, we may write it in ChatGPT and then copy and paste it and clean it up over here. I think it's gonna be to the point where we tell the AI, "I use Captivate, here, I'm gonna type it out and then write my show notes, and then automatically post it to Captivate. It'll get all the stuff that needs to be done and get ready for us to click one button to hit
Mhm.
okay."
Submit.
That
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be very cool when my personal AI agent can do that on my own PC, where I can tell it
Yeah.
what programs to use, how I want it to run, what kind of pipeline I want it to go through. I think that's the next thing, and I think that's gonna be huge for productivity, especially when it comes to like our PC, where we can just get it all set up once. And then now
Yeah.
I have a flow for every show. It's going to write them and post them to YouTube the way it needs to, Instagram, all those different things. So agents are I think, one of the exciting things in this
Yeah.
kind of.
I don't disagree with you. Microsoft, and I'm trying to remember the name of this, but built into Windows 10 and 11 is a agent like
Mhm,
this that you can actually now, it's got a text field. You just type in what you want to do, and it writes the code to automate that for you in Windows.
mhm.
And I don't know why this isn't a bigger deal than it is. Maybe it doesn't work very well.
Right,
Um, maybe it breaks if you breathe on it wrong.
right.
I found it a while back, and then I quickly forgot about it. Talked to somebody about it, and then I was like, "Oh yeah, whatever." But no, I don't disagree with you. I think, listen, my workflow now, I need this for the Mac, and maybe I can use. There's some automations on the Mac to say, "Hey, I'm done with the podcast. Now do these things." And
Mhm.
go do this and grab that and push it here. That's not I don't think it's that hard,
Right,
you know?
right.
So, yeah, Tony says Copilot. No, no, Tony, it's actually It's actually an application built into Windows that nobody knows is there. I found it because I was searching for some automation pieces. I'll find it here in just a second and mention it. But it is definitely something built into Windows nobody uses. It's amazing. You have to install it. You have to do some other things to make it work, but I'll see if I can track that back down. I forgot the name of that.
Some of the stuff, even with this deep thinking like Perplexity is doing, for research, being able to do some stuff more than it was able to do, um, you should play with it because I don't know when I've used it, I haven't gotten blocked out of it. I don't know how long that's gonna last, but some of I mean, it won't go in like it's mostly an agent for the web. Like it goes out
Yeah.
more and
Yeah.
does that kind of stuff and actually does a really good job with the follow-up questions and things. But really easily, I think it's going to be able to go in and, we'll be able to tell it to actually do more actions at the end of those results. So I'm
Yeah.
excited to play with
Yeah.
those.
I don't actually in Windows, I think you have more power, and I'll have to find this application.
Okay.
You have more power than you know in this
Yeah.
thing. And it's actually has a box. You can just type in what you want to do. I mean, it has that's a co-pilot like thing. You just type in what you want to do.
Mhm.
I have some Microsoft Excel things that I interact with on a daily basis. I just need to figure out how to program that thing because today I'm clicking. I don't
Mhm.
know if I need to click anymore. They're the same clicks every
Right.
time. I'm doing the same things, right?
So here's like a workflow that I think these AIs are going to be really. This is from the image kind of creation.
Yeah.
So if you go into my just Jeff Sieh, look at the Instagram post the last yesterday's. So I created this really cool 1950s kind of comic book
Mhm.
of a girl in a spacesuit looking at this giant alien. Like it's bigger than her, and it's really cool. And I wrote a thing about like facing your fears or whatever. So I made that mid journey. I didn't like the alien, didn't look alien enough for me. So I took it into Photoshop and I just drew around its big alien eye and replaced it with a big like eyeball that looked really alien-y, right? So I took it from Midjourney into Photoshop. Okay, then Photoshop, I took that image and uploaded it um, to Runway, and then had her animate walking towards the alien. Looked really, really cool. But all those steps, eventually, I think is going to be in one program. Like create the image, change it out, do some in painting on it, and then animate it, and then even further, it's going to be able, okay, animate it to this beat so it has a soundtrack that matches her walking.
Yeah.
I think that and ends with an explosion or whatever.
Yeah.
I think
Right.
that's going to happen. And as like a creative, that's cool. That's stuff like I dreamed about when I was a boy. Like the frustration of not being able to take what's in my mind and put it on paper or on my screen
Yeah.
for creative storytelling. I think
Yeah.
it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
I just can't wait till the technology catches up even more to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. No, right on. I think we're getting there, right? I mean, I think the next step is putting all those pieces together,
Yeah.
kind of what we started with, which is, putting those pieces together to be able to say, and I think it's going to be in a text box that you just
Yeah.
say, create for me.
I think
You'll
you're
never,
right.
you won't even think about all the things that are going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
One of the things I've seen in AI recently is the prompt, I'm thinking about it or I'm working on it. And so like it's gone off, it's doing its
Mhm.
thing. I need to wait for it to come back because it's creating some stuff. So no, super cool. Jeff, thanks for an interesting conversation. Congratulations on that PC. Like
That's fun.
dude, that's
It was
awesome.
a fun
Yeah.
little project. So
Yeah. When did you build it? When was it done?
it was
Yesterday.
right
Okay.
after Christmas. I kind of started throwing
Okay.
together in the holiday and so kind of finished it up after
Yeah.
the
Did
Christmas.
you like I forget the name of the site. You can go to a site, pick
PC
the
part picker.
hardware.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
part picker.
Did
Yeah.
you have Jeff's
Yeah.
part
I
picker?
haven't put it up there my own thing, but I would look at that and that's how I'd find
Okay.
prices and
Okay.
double check. Like,
You didn't make your own list of things or
no,
anything
I mean,
along those lines?
I I need to because I think showing off the Empire Strikes Back PC is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. No,
One of
super.
the I changed, like, the radiator came with its own fans, but they're cheap looking fans, and so I changed some
Mhm.
stuff off on the list, and, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. I recommend it. You don't have to go nuts like I did, but I think everybody who's a little bit geeky the average guy should try building their own PC once in
Yeah,
their life.
this group pretty pretty savvy.
Right.
Like the folks listening to this, they're pretty savvy. The question would be, I think you actually picked a good time. I bought a couple years ago,
Mhm.
knowing I'd keep it there for 3 to 4 years. The whole goal. I had the guys over at Think 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 Computers. There we go.
Mhm.
Help me build this thing, and the whole goal was to have it 3 to 5 years. Right now, you built this at Christmas pre-tariffs.
Yeah,
Like,
that was the thing. I
tariff
knew they were coming, so I
yeah,
got my graphic card quick because I knew they were gonna go up.
yeah, kinda you start kinda wondering, like, is it too late? I mean, are we in a spot I haven't been tracking, like, video card prices or,
The
some of those
4090 was
things.
hard to get. Like, I thought and then get this little side note.
Yeah.
They sent it to me in the box with just a sticker on it. Like, Amazon shipped it without a box, and I'm like, if this woulda come anywhere else, it would have been gone. Like, they had no
Yeah,
idea that this was a
right,
$2,000 card sitting out
right.
leaning against my front door. I was like,
Yeah,
"Are you kidding me?"
that's
Anyway, I was
crazy.
surprised it made it,
No,
actually.
so for seriously,
Yeah.
listen, I ordered a $7, thing I plug into my generator,
Mhm.
and it's got a cigarette lighter port on the outside because I need the pump I'm gonna use for my generator that refills the tank when it gets empty.
Right,
It's 15.99, maybe not even that. Could have been
right.
9.99, right? They sent that as a box. They sent that in a bag that was covered, right? Your video, like the other day, the I bought the pump that I bought, it was
Right,
170 bucks.
right, right.
It came in another big box. You'd think for a $2,000
They
video
it
card.
was actually the actual box with just the sticker on it, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" Because 'Cause they'll send chapstick, like, we'll get a thing that we get from Amazon, we get the subscribe and save or whatever,
Yeah.
and they'll send
Yeah,
a
yeah.
a monster box with all this paper in it and our chapstick. I'm like, "And you would not do that with the graphics card?
That's
Come on."
crazy. I know.
Anyway,
I know. It's a $2,000. I've been
yeah.
thinking with everything going on, I think maybe I'll shop Walmart more than I'll shop Amazon these days,
You have to check prices because
I
sometimes
know.
Walmart jacks them up, too,
Sometimes
so
Amazon jacks them up.
yeah.
I
I was
think
lucky. I mean, that was the hardest component to find was that graphics card,
yeah, I bet it was.
so
I bet it was. Um, yeah, John Biggs in the chat
yeah.
says, "You should see the size of windshield wiper boxes." What did I order? I ordered something that was like that size. It
And
was
it was a probably
skinny
huge
and
size, yeah.
long, and they put it in a giant box. Now, those guys packing those things, I mean, first of all, the machines are doing most of the decision making. Like, it's
Right,
this big by this big.
right.
This is the box you make. I'm sure there's some kind of automation that goes along with that just says, "Hey, it's cheaper for us just to put it in this box, throw some paper in it. It's gonna be fine, and ship it to this person."
Yeah.
But it's hey, my wife orders sports drinks, like energy drinks through it. And
They hate you. They're like, "This is so freaking heavy."
it is
Like,
the
I'm gonna
the
just throw this stuff out." Yeah.
the FedEx guy we ordered for a lot of years, and actually the last couple weeks we're back on the crack, but we did HelloFresh for a
Oh, yeah, yeah.
long time, right?
Yeah, it's
And
great.
my FedEx guy at one point was like, "Can I?" Because we have a package box that you have to set. You're supposed to set the things in, and he was like, "These boxes are so heavy. Can I just put it on the outside?" We're like, "Nick, that's fine. Just put it on the outside of the box. That's fine. We'll come pick it up,"
Yeah.
kind of thing. But yeah, now Brian says we recently picked up a new mattress from Amazon. Now that box was huge.
I see,
I
that's crazy.
ordered a wagon. I got a Gorilla wagon for my
Oh, yeah, yeah,
generator,
yeah.
right? So surprisingly, the generator is the exact width of these. Like, I didn't know this, like 20 inches, 20 and a half inches, whatever that is in centimeters,
Mhm.
is a standard width for some of these carts, these containers. They're all about 20 and a half inches. And so I ordered this Gorilla cart that I wanted to, big fat
Mhm.
wheels on it so I can pull this generator. Fit perfectly in this Gorilla cart. I was like, who
There you
would have
go.
thought that the generator folks and the cart folks are in cahoots to have the
This is
same size?
great, though. Yeah.
But that was Amazon. That came via FedEx. It was heavy enough. He rolled it up in it wasn't that heavy, to be honest, but he rolled it up in a dolly and he put it at the garage, not the front door, because the front door has steps. So Sarah was like, it came at 9. She was like, did you bring the package in? It's at the garage door. I'm like, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Nobody will take it, kind of thing. But the mechanics of boxes right now, it's a whole new thing. It's crazy.
It's crazy what they're not putting in boxes now too.
Yeah. Well, let's see if any other chat. Let's see. So John says, can you put a link for the generator cart in chat? I will, John. If you hang tight, John, I'll do it in the post show. So Jeff, thanks for coming out. Can you hang tight while I close this thing up?
Yeah,
Did we cover everything? Do you think we covered everything?
I don't know. It's your show. I just showed up. You left the door open. So
no, thanks for coming out and being a part of it. Okay, hang tight. A couple reminders on the way out here. Join our Discord group, theaverageguy.tv/Discord. That's actually gotten kind of quiet over the last couple weeks. If you want to post a chat out there, you got a deal, some of those kinds of things, you can drop that there. Of course, that's where I announce the show and who's coming on and some of those kinds of things. It's a pretty easy group. We don't spam you. Theaverageguy.tv/Discord. You can, of course, contact me via email, jim@theaverageguy.tv. And then don't forget the averageguy.tv platform, both web and media hosting, powered by Maple Grove Partners. Get secure, reliable, high-speed hosting from people that you know and you trust. And that's Christian. He's coming back on here in a couple of weeks because I don't have him scheduled. I need to get that done. He's got plans still as little as $10 a month. Check it out today. MapleGrovePartners.com. And he's doing a great job. So Christian, appreciate your sponsorship for that. We are live. I mentioned we're back on HelloFresh, but my coupon or my affiliate link has long since expired. So if you're going to do HelloFresh, just do it. We are live every Thursday, 8 p.m. Central, 9 Eastern out here at theaverageguy.tv/live. I think I got next week's open. I may fill it, but Gavin Campbell is coming. I got Ed Sullivan lined up to talk about his new EV. Jeff, have you gotten bit by the EV bug? Are you?
I would love to. I mean, this is I think they're so ugly. They remind me of the Volkswagen things, but I like the Cybertrucks. I know.
Really?
They're so ugly.
I almost bought one. They are.
Did you really?
Yeah.
They're so ugly, but they remind me of the Volkswagen thing, and I always thought those were cool.
Yeah.
But we have a hybrid. So, but we lease it because I still don't know what they're going to do with the batteries.
Okay. Yeah. What year? What'd you get from a hybrid standpoint?
It's a CRV.
Honda.
Which I love. Yeah,
Honda CRV.
I love
yeah,
it's really
good.
They
seem to be the king of hybrid. They don't. Everybody else kind of went either EV or ICE, right? Honda still kind of kept the hybrid idea around, right?
It gets great gas mileage. I love the tech in there, the wireless AirPlay. There's so many cool things about it. I leased it because when I asked them, like, when I have to replace the battery, like, what's that going to run me? And like, we're not really sure. It's like maybe like $3,000 to $6,000. And I'm like, you don't know? Okay, well,
yeah,
we're gonna lease it.
I had to replace mine.
And it was
really? $4,000. Yeah.
So I'm like,
no, I didn't replace it. I got lucky and bought the extended warranty.
Good.
Yeah. So I lucked out. But
what model's yours?
Well, it was an old one, 06 Civic.
Okay.
Yeah, way back in the day. But they're not cheap, and it's not like its batteries are getting cheaper at this point. So it's one of those kinds of things. Anyways, well, we will be back next week. Oh, I was mentioning I'll have Ed. Ed's got listen, when we have Ed on, he's coming on the 3rd. You're gonna want to be here because you have no idea. You would never guess in a million years the EV that Ed bought. It's going to be awesome. So you're going to want to come out. He's coming on the 3rd. I got Aaron Lawrence scheduled for the 17th of April, and then Mike Uyghur's back on the 24th. If you're listening live, thanks for coming out. If you're listening to the podcast, thanks for listening. With that, we'll say goodbye, everybody. Jeff, thank you.
I just joined your Discord.
Oh, good. Yeah, it's a gentle, kind, helpful group. Like
I'm in Discord a lot, so it'd be great.
Cool. Not get spam. John, I'm gonna throw the Gorilla Cart link in the chat right now. I almost went, Jeff. I'll keep you just 2 more minutes.
Sure.
I almost went. This is the tyranny of shopping on Amazon or whatever. Like I was looking for carts this size. I needed it to be 500 to 600 pounds. This one's 800, and I just needed to be a cart. There are 1,000 Chinese carts out there that have names like "Go For" or
Yeah. Yeah.
Examore, and you're like, what?
And
Who
they've probably
makes
hit me
these
up
things?
to actually do a
Yeah.
video on it.
Yeah. No, and you're like, who makes all these things, right? Now I ended up paying 140 for it.
It's not bad.
No, I think it's a good cart. It's got air, it's got wheels that you would put air in. So I wish it would have been just the regular rubber wheels. I don't need to put air in that kind of thing.
Right. Right.
But I don't, nor do I want to. I mean, I can. Gorilla is a recognized brand name in these kinds of carts, so I kind of thought it's a great cart. Like I put it together in 3 minutes, and it was awesome. And it holds the generator. I can change the oil easily because you just drop the
Mhm.
side down, lift the cover off, drain the oil out. It's awesome, but
So where do you put it when you need to use it? Do you just roll it out and put it away from your garage?
yeah, so I pull actually the inlet I put is on the back side of the house. And so I would, in theory, I'd roll it out of the garage, back down a path to the back of the house, then up this area, and it's got kind of a parking spot where it would go. And then I've got a cable that you plug into the generator and plug
Is
into
it
the
is it
house.
covered so it won't get
It
wet?
is not covered, so
So
I would yeah,
I went and bought at Sam's one of
yeah.
those cheap little covers because it was supposed to we were supposed to lose power. We didn't, but I don't like running the generator out in the rain or in the snow or whatever because technically you're not supposed to because you could get it's the power you're shooting you got water. So I bought one of those cheap $50 pop up gazebo like things or
Yeah,
whatever they're
yeah.
to use for it.
Okay. Yeah, I've gotta come up with now I have I bought a screen for the deck. It's right, the deck is right
Right.
there. I bought a
Mhm.
screen for the deck in the summer. That week I can quickly bungee to the deck that blocks the sun because here we're always out on the deck in the evening and the sun is just blaring in that side,
Right.
right? So I bought this screen,
Mhm.
and the thought was I just rig up if I needed to, if it was raining or rain was imminent or whatever, I would just take that cover, rig
And
it
put it
up
over. Yeah.
so it would cover it from rain. I mean, I have a fairly enclosed generator. It's one of those
Right, right.
inverters, but it's
Mhm.
also kind of covered. It's
Right.
not a frame, not an open frame.
Yeah.
And so even if it did get wet, I'm not that
Too
worried
worried.
about it,
Yeah.
but
I was just thinking, I mean, I get paranoid about that kind of stuff. So
right on, me too. Listen, I've spent my
I've
last 2 years thinking day and night about this freaking generator. Like,
I just want to get one to have somebody come and install it. So I want one of those nice natural gas ones that just kick on. I don't have
yeah,
to think
you
about it.
you want a Generac is what
Yeah.
you
My
want.
neighbors have them and I'm just like,
Yeah,
I wish
yeah.
I had one. So,
You're gonna spend $15,000
oh
putting
yeah.
one in
Yeah.
that.
Putting that
Yeah,
in with
yeah. It'll
like,
work. It'll
yeah.
work. That's, like, hands down. The problem so Ed Sullivan and I have had this conversation, like, 1,000 times. And he's like, because he has a Generac, and as I put in this generator, and he's like, "Jim, you're gonna spend as much money as I spent on the Generac."
Putting it
Now
in.
that's not true, Ed, it's not true, and he knows
Right.
that. I spent
I just
maybe
don't
half.
I just don't like doing because I'm gonna have to get it tied into everything and so it doesn't go back on the line
Well,
and all that.
yeah,
And I'm
you
like,
gotta get a natural gas line put in, you
well, we
gotta
have natural gas already. I mean, so it shouldn't be too hard for him to do, but and I just don't like doing like I mean, I've flown off of ladders and I had my friends fly off ladders, wiring their house, like
Mhm,
they and I'm just
mhm.
like, I'm too old for that anymore.
No, right on, right on. I was an electrician in the military, so I'm
Oh, there
pretty
you go. Well, that makes
pretty
sense. Yeah.
comfortable. Not saying everything I did was code, like,
Yeah.
I was learning as I went along. The crazy thing about electrical code, it's constantly changing. This is like, I watch all these guys on YouTube talking about wiring, and they're like, "Well, the 2017 code says this, but the 2020, the 2020 code allows for." I think they change it every 3 years. The 2020 code allows this, and then in 2023 they change. And you're like, how am I supposed to keep up with this stuff? I'm just an amateur. And they're like, exactly. You should hire us to come and put your, your thing in. So
So John says about the battery backup. I would there was it was Marcus Brownlee on YouTube. He got the Musk's tiles, those solar tiles, and did his
yeah,
whole house. I mean, ridiculously expensive. But
yeah,
then it goes right into that big Tesla power bank, and I'm like,
yeah.
that's so freaking cool. I would if I had the gazillion dollars, I'd do the same thing. But
Yeah. Listen, I've been down this road 1,000 times in my brain, and I can never justify here in Nebraska battery or solar. I can't justify it. It financially, it doesn't make any sense today. That
right,
may change in the future. We don't lose enough power. I mean, fortunately, my neighbor across the street, he's becoming a very, very good friend, works for our power company. And
yeah,
yeah, he's out all the time, but we just only lose power maybe once every other year. And now that I
that's
have a generator, I'm never going to lose power.
see. I
Like
mean,
it's
yeah, it's
right.
right.
It's done.
Well,
I am
Nebraska's
guaranteed.
hardened for this stuff, like Texas, though.
Yeah.
Like, because
Yeah. No, your
we're in the
grid is
pine
a
trees,
mess.
and they're going through
Yeah.
there, and, like, luckily, we're on the main one that went out that everybody lawsuits and all the things
Right.
happened a couple
Right.
years ago.
Right.
We're
Right.
not on that grid. We're kind
Okay.
of into the, Louisiana kind of
You're
architects
that
kinda thing.
Eastern
Yeah,
Texas.
yeah,
Yeah.
so we didn't lose it,
Yeah.
like, days and days like some people did, so
Well, it's still, I mean, it's deregulated in Texas, so it can be a little bit of a crapshoot
right.
sometimes on how it works, right? But yeah.
But or just get a Cybertruck, like John says too, or the
Well, but
F-150, the
you gotta,
F-150 will run your house.
yeah, but you still gotta wire it. It's this is not
Right.
magic, right? You just don't pull it in your garage and it
Right,
works,
just
right?
it hits yeah, you
You
gotta
gotta wire
hook
it
it
in.
up.
Yeah, I could never. I want to, Jeff. I swear to God, I want so badly to put batteries, and it's all scoped out. Like tomorrow,
You could do
if
it.
for whatever the Nebraska grid went down, right? Tomorrow, it's all scoped out. I could put batteries in, put solar on the house. We'd be taken care of. There's no payoff for me. Like
Right.
I run the numbers, and I'm like,
It's just
yeah,
a
no, I
sunk
can't.
cost, yeah.
I can't actually make this actually make sense. And I wired it when I wired the house with the inlet and the interlock kit is the way I did it here. I did build it so in the future I could plug batteries
Batteries.
in instead of the generator. And the thought is you have the generator charge the batteries and the battery runs the
Right,
house.
right.
Just the power's too reliable here. Like
It's
you
good.
can't today it would cost me to run the house on batteries. It'd be $7,000, right? That's what I would need to buy. That's the cheapest, most affordable options to run the whole house. Do you spend $7,000 for something that happens every 4 years?
Well, Nebraska's got all that flat land, and that's where the zombie apocalypse is gonna hit the hardest because there's no barriers. They're just gonna come right to your house, and you will wish that you would have had power. That's what's gonna
Yeah,
happen.
well, I have a generator.
Yeah.
Today, I can't now,
Right.
the generator will draw them, right? I'm
Right.
sure,
Right. All the
they're
noise
not
it's making.
silent.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
right.
this is what was The Quiet Place? The
Yeah.
movie The Quiet
That was a
Place?
yeah. Mhm.
That was creepy.
That was a
But
good
the
movie.
generator will draw those
Yeah.
animals in, so I'm screwed from that standpoint. But it Joe says, that Energy Arkansas reimburses him 250 for the
That's
connection,
cool.
which would be nice. Like, and then John says, and John, you're 100% right.
That is
Maybe it
true.
isn't about the
It's
numbers.
just that
Maybe
you're
it's
off the grid. That's the thing. Like, it's like, nobody can tell me what to do.
I don't need to be off the grid, Jeff.
I
Like,
know, but it just the independent part of us just wants to do
our
that.
grid is so good. Nebraska's got some of the best natural gas and some of the best power utilities. They're just really good.
And
The
yeah,
ones we
and
have.
it's hardened for the weather like Kansas. I grew up in
For
Kansas,
sure,
so,
for
like,
sure. Yeah.
we
No.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just and listen, we had these 100-mile-an-hour winds last summer.
Mhm.
Took a tree this was a human's fault who hadn't trimmed his tree, took a tree, the tree came down, hit our transformer,
Yeah,
blew the transformer right off the pole, and took the pole out. Like, it was but so we were out for 4 days because of that, and there was a lot of power outage, but that's, like, once every 4, 5, 6
right,
years.
right.
So, John says Getting off the grid is the first step. I don't need to be off the grid. That's the problem. Dan, welcome. Good to see you out here tonight. Yeah, it's just I run the numbers and I'm like, it doesn't make any sense. It, we're 12 cents a kilowatt hour or whatever that is here.
Yeah.
And you're like, it just doesn't make any sense. I want to so bad. I want to fight the man. And the man is like, hey, power's going to be cheap. Is that okay?
Right.
You're like, okay, where's my money? Right. Anyways, it's kind of crazy. Well, if you're listening live, thanks for coming out, Jeff. Hang out for just one more second.
Sure.
We'll see you guys. Well, I still have to plan next week. I don't have anything on the schedule for next week, but we'll get something figured out, or I won't, one way or another. And I'll keep you guys posted via John. Listen to the voices, Jim. No, John, that's what gets me in trouble.